You're right in the middle of a workflow, and the laptop starts stuttering. The cursor glitches across the screen, and finally, the system locks up. When you search for a fix, you immediately flooded with ads for registry cleaners and RAM boosters and PC optimizers. It's a massive industry built almost entirely on selling you a cure for the anxiety they just created. The truth buried under all that marketing is that you don't need to buy any of these tools. Windows already ships with everything you need to fix a slow machine, and the biggest wins are completely free. To find the bottleneck, press Ctrl, Shift, and Escape all at once. This opens Task Manager. Click over to the Performance tab. This diagram shows the three main resources your computer relies on: CPU, memory, and disk. Just use your laptop normally for about a minute and watch these graphs. Whatever stays pinned near the top tells you exactly what needs fixing. If the memory graph stays near 100%, you're out of RAM. When this happens, Windows panics and overflows data onto your storage drive to cope. That drive is much slower, which causes the immediate stuttering you feel. Now, if the memory looks fine, but the disk graph is constantly maxed out, your drive is either nearly full, or it's an older mechanical hard drive struggling to keep up with modern background tasks. And if the disk and memory are low, but the CPU continues to spike erratically while you aren't doing anything, you have a specific rogue process eating your processing power, which can sometimes point to malware. Pinpointing exactly which of these three resources is failing is step one. The fix for a maxed-out disk is entirely different from the fix for maxed-out memory. If your system feels slow right after you turn it on, the most likely culprit is a crowd of programs that have silently invited themselves to launch in the background the second you boot up. Over time, chat apps, music players, and background updaters accumulate. Together, they can easily claim half a gigabyte of memory before you've even opened a browser. In Task Manager, click the Startup Apps tab and sort the list by startup impact. This shows you exactly which programs are demanding the most resources. You can safely select and disable messaging apps, game launchers, and software updaters that you don't need running every second of the day. Leave your antivirus, audio and graphics drivers, and any cloud backups you rely on enabled. If you don't recognize a name on the list, look it up before touching it. Disabling an item here doesn't uninstall it. Everything still opens normally when you click it later. By stopping them from showing up uninvited at boot, you hand hundreds of megabytes of essential memory back to the applications you want to use. Maintaining empty storage space is a mechanical requirement for a fast system. Counterintuitively, the amount of free room on your drive directly dictates how fast Windows actually operates. Windows needs physical room to shuffle temporary files and install updates. Modern solid-state drives also require empty headroom to reorganize data efficiently in the background. Squeeze that room out, and everything drags. This bar shows a typical system drive. Operating with under 10% free space is an active crisis that will noticeably choke the system. A practical target is to keep at least a 15% buffer completely clear. To reclaim that buffer safely, open your Windows settings, go to System, and click Storage. This menu exposes exactly what's consuming your drive, without risking your personal files. Here, you can switch on Storage Sense. This automates the cleanup of temporary files and the recycle bin, ensuring that your old junk data clears itself out completely and permanently. Maintaining that 15% buffer gives the operating system the physical room it needs to breathe, eliminating the silent drag on application launches and background updates. For daily usage, the web browser is the heaviest, most resource-intensive program running on the machine. Chrome has its own internal task manager, which you can open by pressing Shift and Escape. This reveals exactly which background tabs and specific extensions are quietly eating up your RAM. Audit your extensions ruthlessly, because they run constantly whether you use them or not. And take advantage of features like sleeping tabs, which automatically suspend inactive pages to free up resources. Beyond the browser, there's a purely physical fix for a sluggish machine: shutting it down properly instead of endlessly closing the lid and letting it sleep. Long uptimes create memory pressure. The system accumulates tangled allocations of RAM over days and weeks that only a true hard reboot can release. People genuinely report 90% memory usage with nothing running, cured entirely by a reboot. Practicing a bit of browser discipline and shutting the laptop completely down every couple of weeks prevents the gradual, invisible accumulation of these artificial slowdowns. If you've gone through those steps and Task Manager still shows your memory or disk pinned near 100%, you've exhausted the software fixes. It's a physical bottleneck. For modern Windows, 8 gigabytes of RAM is the absolute minimum you need to get by. 16 gigabytes is the practical target for a smooth experience. If your machine allows it, snapping in an extra stick of RAM or replacing an old mechanical hard drive with a solid-state drive are the cheapest, most transformative physical upgrades you can make. These physical realities are completely ignored by the aggressively marketed optimizer industry. They want you to believe a subscription to a registry cleaner, a RAM booster, or a driver updater can overcome a hardware limitation. Not only do they fail, they often cause harm. Aggressive registry cleaners can delete critical files and break Windows entirely. RAM boosters forcefully flush cache data, which makes the computer work harder and run slower as it reloads everything it just lost. If a third-party tool is promising a miraculous speedup for a monthly fee, its actual product is the fear it sold you. It is not fixing your computer. Before you assume an older machine is dead and you need to buy a brand new PC immediately, there is one update that most guides miss. This graphic shows the official timeline. Microsoft quietly extended the consumer extended security updates. For Windows 10, instead of cutting off in 2026, it now stretches to October 2027. The catch is that you have to be actively enrolled to receive it. Checking your enrollment status now means you might squeeze an extra year from your hardware, avoiding the need to buy in today's inflated market. Diagnosing a slow computer doesn't take a computer science degree. Pinpoint the bottleneck in Task Manager, purge your startup list, reclaim a 15% storage buffer, and tame your browser. Almost everything the optimizer ads promise is either a built-in feature of Windows or an absolute fabrication. The native tools are free, they are safe, and most importantly, they actually work.